I'm Scott Weichel. You're listening to My Kind of Country. My guest tonight is a Grammy Award winner with 23 number ones, 6 gold albums, and the first female artist in country music history to reach platinum sales with her 1977 album, We Must Believe in Magic. She's won multiple awards from the CMA and ACM, including Female Vocalist of the Year. She's a member of the Grand Ole Opry, and she's got a brand new album titled You Don't Know Me. She is truly a pioneer in country music, and it's my pleasure to welcome Crystal Gayle to My Kind of Country. Crystal, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Well, it's truly an honor. We've been trying to set this up for a while, and I'm so glad it finally happened, and I want to thank Scott Sexton for getting us in touch today.
Oh, he's a great guy.
He sure is. Well, a new album, and I read that it was the first time in 16 years that you'd had an album out. How can that be?
Well, I read that too. It was like, I never thought about it, and when you're out there and you're doing all your albums, and I've had so many, like you said, number ones and this and that, and then radio changes, and then you think, well, do they want another album? But then it's changed again. I mean, there's YouTube, there's the streaming, there's everything that I started the album actually in the studio with my son Christos, and it was to let him hear and to know some of the songs I grew up singing, the real country music that I was a part of, and that really is what it's almost like a musical biography in the sense of all the songs. Ribbon of Darkness, the first song in the album, was the first song I sang on the Grand Ole Opry.
Is that right?
And I was probably 17 or in that age range and in that time period. And my sister, and most people know that Loretta Lynn and I are sisters, and she was sick. And Mooney, her husband, talked the Opry into letting me go on stage and sing.
Wow, that's incredible.
I was so nervous.
And now you're a member of the Opry. How great is that?
It is. It's wonderful. It's been over 3 years now, but I look back and I'm thinking I've been on that stage so many times. I never really thought about pounding on the doors and saying, "Make me a member." I guess I really thought I was a member. I felt like it, but it is an honor.
Well, I think there are a lot of people that are really pushing to get a lot of the legends back on the Opry again, and we're getting to a generation now where we've lost so many people, and I think it's very important to showcase the people that are still with us and active in the business, like yourself, and people like Gene Watson, and I think it's just fantastic.
When you look back at the music is always evolving. Country music has been changing since I started in the business. I could see the changes happening then. And then as you're in it for a while, you see other changes. And that it's in a different place. It's very popular. It's definitely not what the real country music was in the past. But the people that are listening to it, the young kids, this is their country music.
Absolutely. Well, the nice thing you've done with this project is you're taking songs and bringing them back to the forefront again for a whole new generation. You're probably going to be introducing these songs to a lot of people that probably never heard the original versions.
I picked songs that I opened for Fair and Young. I did Hello Walls, which was written by Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
These songs are just. I look back at. When I opened for Fair, and I got to hear him singing all these great songs. I opened for Jack Green. I looked at Conway Twitty. I opened for Johnny Cash. My background is filled with being with all of these great entertainers, and I feel lucky.
Absolutely. Well, and you're among them now. There's a lot of people that look up to you in the same way. They're going to say the same thing about you. I got to open for Crystal Gayle. And it just pays forward.
Well, when I did the CMAs this past year, and they had it more or less a tribute to the women in country. And as I was heading to my seat, I stopped to talk to Keith Urban, and he started singing one of my songs that he had sung back in Australia when he was starting out. So I thought that was sweet.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Well, folks, the album is called You Don't Know Me. 15 beautiful songs on this project. And you can get it at crystalgale.com. And, of course, all the great places that we get our music. The Ernest Tubb Record Shop in Nashville is one. And, of course, you can get it on Amazon and iTunes and all those great places. And we're talking to Crystal about this fabulous project today. Crystal, the first time that you, again, another first, which surprised me, the first time you have recorded with your sisters.
I know. We have been on stage doing live concerts, and we've done TV together, but we've never, we talked about it so many times of going in and doing an album, and just never did it. We'd get together, and we'd have fun, we'd laugh a lot and carry on, but this was the first time that when I asked Loretta, and it was like, yeah, she was excited to do it, and she came in the studio, and just sat down, and she doesn't like headphones, so we had the speaker, and she just sang it through and did it perfect.
Man, that's incredible. Put It Off Until Tomorrow. What a classic song. Well, you've also recorded one of your brother's songs on this project.
You Never Were Mine. That's one of my favorites of his, and he has a fantastic version on one of his albums of this particular song, and I always kept saying, I'm gonna record this, and I wish I'd had recorded it a long time ago. Gayle has passed on now, and just a great entertainer. And this album really is filled with growing up, a lot of memories, but it's also filled with family. Doing my brother's song, my sister's singing on it, Peggy Sue, as well as Loretta, but also, a cousin helping with the art direction, my daughter, my son. He co-produced the album as well as mixed it and engineered. So
oh, that's great.
We have it in the family.
Well, you certainly have come from a musical family, so it's wonderful you were able to all come together, and it certainly paid off with this wonderful project. Jay Lee is an awesome artist. We play a lot of his songs on our show, and he did a kind of an answer song to Loretta's "Don't Come Home a Drinkin'."
I come home a drinking to a worn-out wife like you.
Yeah.
I love it. There was a lot of answer songs in the past, which I loved, but that was a great one. And he was a great artist, a great singer, a great writer, but a great entertainer. He had the comedy, he had everything.
Certainly fantastic. I've got some of his Decca albums, and like I said, we play him a lot on the show. Speaking of kind of answer songs, is the bonus track on here kind of an answer song to "Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue"?
The bonus track, "I Cried the Blue Right Out of My Eyes," was actually the first recording I had released, which was on Decca Records, MCA now. Decca Records was what Loretta was on, and that was my first recording contract. But what I put on the album was actually the demo version. That when the song, I took it in with other songs, and I did the demos for the publishing company. Which was a lot of fun because you were learning the studio, learning how to sing in the studio, with everything. It was wonderful that they would let me do their songs. So what you hear is the demo of it. And in this particular demo, the melody is a tad bit different than what the actual recording was.
Yeah. Well, that's really great. Well, folks, I hope you pick up the album and make sure you listen to that bonus track on there. Crystal, you chose one of my favorite George Jones songs on this album. It's called "Just One More." Tell me a little bit about that one.
Well, this was a drinking song that Loretta's husband, Mooney Lynn, he loved this song. So when they would travel back through Wabash, where I was growing up, he would have me sing it. So I was this kid singing this drinking song at the top of my lungs. But I loved it. I love George. And it's a great song.
Absolutely, it is. A song on here that I confess I wasn't familiar with. I had to go and look it up. But Harlan Howard co-wrote the song, and it's called "I've Seen That Look on Me 1,000 Times." What a great line.
It really is. And Eric Prestige is a great engineer, great producer that I've worked with through the years. He brought this to me years back and said, I love this song. And you don't hear a woman singing a song like this. And I thought, that's sort of neat to do that. That is a song that would be written really for the man. But I love what it said, 4 a.m. and you're just getting in. So it was Harlan Howard wrote so many wonderful songs.
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. Classics. Just timeless classics, and that's one of the things. The songs on here, I've always said good music has no expiration date, and it's evidenced by the music here and what you've done with this project. These songs, every single one of them, are absolutely stellar, and you have done such a beautiful job, and you are singing so wonderfully. You sound just as perfect as you always did.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You Don't Know Me, another classic song. Cindy Walker, I think, was one of the classiest ladies in country music, and maybe you may have even been there when she was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. And she gave one of the best acceptance speeches I've ever heard in my life, and she was dressed in this beautiful dress, and I thought that is such a classy lady, but boy, what a great body of work she had. Oh,
definitely. And Eddie Arnold, that was just such a great song for him. And I know that he was, he's one of the writers on it, and I'm not sure the backstory of everything, but it is. I love that song. And I actually, when I recorded it, I went to Cindy's version to get the lyric change for a woman, and I wanted to do it in the way that the writer had sung it.
Well, certainly so many great songs on this project, and folks, again, please go to crystalgayle.com. The album is called You Don't Know Me, and you got to get this one, folks. We're going to obviously be playing some of these great songs for you on the show tonight. Crystal, I wanted to ask you about, everybody, of course, always asks you about Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue. Pig Robbins played piano on that, and a lot of folks that may not be familiar with Pig, he is one of the most sought-after studio piano players, and he's played, I think, on more hit records than anybody in history. And his piano riff is what kicks that song off. Can you tell me the story of the song and how it came about? And were you surprised that it took off to be such a monster hit for you?
Well, Brown Eyes was a song that Richard Lee, he wrote my very first number one, which was I'll Get Over You. And then, he didn't have a whole lot recorded after that, and so he was feeling down, and he asked Alan if he'd listen to some of his songs, and he said he would. And so he goes to his house, and he's listening to songs, and then finally he said, do you have anything else to play me? And he said, I have one other song, but we're going to send it to California and for someone to hear. Now I said, well, play it for me. And he heard it, and he said, you're not sending that song anywhere. So we almost lost it. But it was a song that we took it into the studio, and it was the very first take. What you hear on radio is what was recorded, what went down. I did not re-sing it. I tried, but it didn't fit. It was a performance. Wow. Everyone. And what Pig Robbins played was just incredible. And that's what he heard. That's what he felt with that song. And it was a signature lick that when you start it out, you know what song it is.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right about that. I was privileged. I got to see Pig in the studio a few years ago. I was working with David Frizzell on a project, and Freddie Hart was there, and he was recording a song that he'd written about Lefty Frizzell, and Pig was there and played piano. And when he got done with his part, everybody cheered.
Oh.
It was just magic.
Definitely, he's great.
And speaking of Frizzell's, That's the Way Love Goes is a classic song, and it's been cut several times, and it's been a hit every time. And there haven't been, again, too many females that have done this, but I think this is a standout cut on the album, and I think that it should be a single for you. What do you think?
I love that song, and that's a song that, I opened for Johnny Rodriguez, who had a big hit on it. And when I talked to Johnny later, he said, when he heard it, he said, that's the best version, he said, except for mine, you know. I love Johnny. And it's always had a place in my heart.
It's a beautiful, beautiful song, and it's one of those just upper echelon of classics. You know, there's certain songs, and that's one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So what's coming up for you this year as far as promoting the album, and what kind of exciting things are you working on right now?
Well, I'm getting ready to go back in the studio and do some more recording. And, you know, I probably have enough for a number 2 of an album if I wanted it.
Oh, great.
But, we're doing different things, concerts. And I don't travel the road like I used to. It's the less you go out on the road, you know, you like it. And then when you go out, you say, oh, I like being out here. So you're out there for a while. But, really it's a time to enjoy what I do and enjoy my life and family.
Well, absolutely. That's wonderful. How is Loretta doing, if I may ask?
She's doing good. You know, she's enjoying her family. You know, she's been on the road so many years and for such a long time that it's nice that she's been able to be with her grandkids and her great-grandkids as well as her own.
That's wonderful. I know she just recorded a song with Amber Digby down in Texas recently, too, so glad to see she's doing some recording anyway.
Oh, she sings great.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And is your hair still as long as it used to be?
It's not as long as it used to be. It's still long, and then I keep saying I should just cut it. Or, I could wear wigs, like everybody else does.
Well, that kind of became your trademark. Was that something that was kind of an intentional thing, or did it just kind of happen?
It just happened. And the reason, I always wanted hair long enough to put in a ponytail. And my mother would always keep it short. I mean, my hair was like cut short as a boy's in grade school. And then when I got where I could take care of it, I started growing it. And it was down my back. And I decided, I want some curl. So I put, this was in junior high, I put a perm in it. I didn't know what I was doing. So I looked like Midge. Just the Barbie the Midge doll had it all the way up, and it would curl up at the ear. And and I went to the beautician, and instead of trying to relax the perm, she cut it all off.
Oh, man.
So I had real short hair at that time, and my mother was furious with her. But then I just started letting it grow, and it was easy to take care of. I cannot fix hair, so I could wash it and let it dry, and I was ready for stage. So really, that was why I had long hair. Now, whether I saw some with hair to their knees, and I thought, let me see if I can grow my hair that long. And, of course, I do not know how long my hair would have grown if I'd never trimmed it, cut it, because I found that I was cutting 9 to 12 inches in trimmings a year just to keep it about 3 inches off the ground.
Oh, my gosh.
So I don't know. I think it would have been... you see those pictures with the women with it dragging the floor for many feet. But, and I always say that's my American Indian heritage.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's got to be heavy, though, isn't it?
Well, I did thin it out some. Definitely it's heavy. It can cause, the headaches. It did, and then the neck aches. But, and I'm always, when I see someone, a young girl with hair and it's thick, and I'm thinking, oh, my... because the weight of it it's hard.
I can imagine. Well, I had to ask you about that. I've always been curious. Well, Crystal, it's been a delight having you on the show, and please keep us posted. And if you do a volume 2 of this, please come back to the show. I'd love to have you back on and do a feature on that too.
Sounds great. I appreciate it, Scott. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's been an honor. And we're going to play some fabulous music from You Don't Know Me. Again, crystalgayle.com is the website. And we're going to play some of this great music for you. Crystal, thank you so much for being on My Kind of Country.
Oh, well, thank you.